The Highwayman. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, when a highwayman came riding, riding, riding. A highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He had a French-cocked hat on his forehead and a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of claret velvet and breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle, and his boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jeweled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle, under the jeweled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed into the dark inn-yard. He tapped with his whip on the shutters, but all was locked and barred. So he whistled a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. And dark in the dark old inn-yard, a stable wicket creaked, where Tim, the ostler, listened. His face was white and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness, and his hair like moldy hay. For he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened as he heard the robbers say, "One kiss, my bonny sweetheart. I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and harry me all through the day, then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I will come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." He rose upright in his stirrups. He scarce could reach her hand, but she loosed her hair in the casement. His face burned like a brand as the black cascade of perfumed hair came tumbling o'er his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight. Oh, sweet black waves in the moonlight. Then he tugged at his reins in the moonlight, then galloped away to the west. He did not come at the dawning. He did not come at noon. But out of the tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor, a redcoat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord, just drank his ale instead. But they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of her narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement with muskets at their side. There was death at every window, and hell at one dark window, and Bess could see through her casement window the road that he would ride. They had tied her up to attention with many a sniggering jest. They bound a musket beside her, with the barrel beneath her breast. "Now keep good watch." Then they kissed her. She could hear the dead man say, "Look for me by moonlight. Wait for me by moonlight. I shall come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness. The hours crawled by like years, till now, on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. Oh, the trigger at least was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. Oh, she strove no more for the rest. Up she stood to attention, with the barrel still beneath her breast. Oh, she would not risk their hearing. No, she would not strive again. For the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Tlot, 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 tlot. Had they heard it? Horse hoofs ringing clear. Tlot, 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 tlot. In the distance, were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. Bess stood up straight and still. Tlot, tlot in the frosty silence, tlot, tlot in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for one moment, and she drew one last deep breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her finger shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned. He spurred back westward. He did not know who stood, bowed, with her head over a musket and drenched in her own red blood. 'Twas not till the dawn that he heard it. Then his face grew gray to hear how Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. So back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden moon. Wine red was his velvet coat. When they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, and he lay in his blood on the highway, with a bunch of lace at his throat. Well, still of a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, and the moon is a ghostly galleon ship tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, a highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clangs into the dark inn yard, and he taps with his whip on the shutters, but all seems locked and barred. So he whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair.
Good.
Yeah, I
Very
just
cool.
finished it, but I didn't want to make any noises because
No, yeah,
well, now
that's
I
good.
did. So.